here we go. KARPAS. Now, KARPAS is what? 320 plus, 220 plus 80. 360. What does 360 do for me? Then he says it's a gematria 360. And then he says also the word shin yud nun, which is shin. Spells out shin. Let's look at the Tiva Kavanot. Kavanot says, you have to eat too. I just say the bracha. Okay. Nikdas kav yamin the Katnut Rishon be'etzim. That happens. Katnut Rishon comes in its essence. The whole, I guess it means in the root. Shar hakavim niknasim ha'razim atar bilvad, and all the rest of the kavim. That's the right line. All the rest of them come in just has a hara. Okay. So he says. V'hinera yedera KARPAS ma'avshichin as a mochin the Katnut Rishon. V'hamnam kevim sha'ata ana osukim b'muach ha'chochma. But now, since we're dealing with the muach ha'chochma, l'chein as a Katnut Rishon shal muach ha'chochma ana mamshichim as atzmusu mamish. So it's whole self, I guess it means. The Katnut Rishon shall muach habina, for example, shuhu kav small hanikra baga. Behind the Katnut Rishon, so that's interesting that there's Katnut goes in the three lines. Behind the Katnut Rishon shall muach hadas shuhu kav emsoy hanikra dati anamam shichem rak ha'ara mehem. So Katnut Rishon. Ve'es atzmosam ana mamshichim kol echa bebekomo. And when is that place? That place is a kos sheni. Shbo mamshichim as muach habina. So the first one is the muach ha'chochma. Muach ha'chochma the Katnut Rishon the ima. Nimshach gam as atzmos ha'katna. So also the essence of Katnut Rishon shall muach habina muach habina then. And the coast of Shlishi v'Charavi Shebechem Ana Mamshichem as Muach Hadas Nimshach and Namshach Gam as Atzmos Shal Katnut Rishon Shal Muach Hadas. So that's what it takes in order to get the three lines of Katnut Rishon. Takes all the coasts. Let's look down below a number Kaf Bet. And then KARPAS says number Kaf Bet. Nikdas kav yamin the Katnut Rishon be'etzav v'sharcha the kavim niknasim harasam ata belvad. Kamosha his bar b'kadama la'el the zecher shitas of Rav David Majar. She's saying all three. He's saying it's the right line. It's the right line that comes in its essence. Ubedarko halkoch Sidur shasar Shalom didan. So our sar shebekarpas neknasim rak atzmos Katnut Rishon shal muach ha'chochma shuhu kav yamin. Aval Katnut Rishon shal muach habina v'shal muach hadas. Neknasim raka achar ha'ara shalahem bekarpas. Now that's really what he said already. The edach of smusam niknas achar as kol echa bebekom the heilish Katnut Rishon shal muach habina niknas at smusam bekos sheni. Its essence comes in the second pot, in the second cup. The Katnut Rishon. Let me see if we get this up here. Katnut Rishon shamuach hadas and niknas atzmusa bekos shlishi v'ravi comes into the third and fourth cup. Avacha b'sidach yara. So I just want to point this out. That's the Sidur of David Majar. Rabbi David Najjar, but the Yara Ksiv Yad calls it. He writes that there's Kol HaShlosha Kavin Niknasim Atzmusa BeKarpas, and all of them come in Karpas. The Hainish HaKadas Rishon shall call Hamochim. The Mshachim Atzmusa BeKarpas, that they extend down their essence in the Karpas became Sidur Shalom. So in different places they say different things. This is the Shita of Rabbi David Najjar, the Radam. Okay, let's go over to page number to number Samach Aleph. So he says the Hainish Yakav the Habshek Hachan Bagadadi, the Chabad B'Chagad V'nai. So here we go into the multiple kind of different things. So he says that you're bringing in all three lines, Hachan Bagadati, of the Chabad, the V'Chagad, V'nai. So what is this? This all the different parts. The Shnei Partsufim deny the V'Chagad, of the two Partsufim of Nai and Hagat. Now we said before, Nai and Hagat refer to Katnut. I think he's going to say that. The Chamisha Partsufim, the Tavuna, of the 5 Partsufim that you find in Tavuna, where everything is going in. So this Tavuna delivering this. Bechilas KARPAS, he says, Mamshichem es atzmos shal kav yamin. We're bringing in, we just said, according to Rabbi David Najjar. V'ha'ar shal kav smol v'kav emisoy the Katnut Rishon, and also ha'ar from those two. Uv'techida mamshichem es halavushim to Tavuna. So first, what do we do? And we're going to see some of this in the coming pages. I think he's going to show it to us. So he says, "B'techila ma'amshichem as a levushim the tavuna." So first we bring the levushim, the tavuna, va'ata, and now ba'achilas KARPAS. So let me just see where he says, "When b'techila ma'amshichem as a levushim." First come the levushim, then you actually eat the KARPAS. Ma'amshichem because shlosha kavim the tavuna. So we bring down all the 3 lines of kavuna. So he said, which is Chachan, who Shahu Mucha Chochma, Sha'atz Muso Shalo Nimshach, and then the other 2, which is Baga and Dati. Baga, who is the Mucha Bina Vidata, who Mucha Hadas, HaMimshachim Rak Ha'aramahem. Okay, so this is, he said this already. Shehim Ekwaim Gam Chabad V'Chagad V'nai. They're also called that same by the same names. So what would be? Chabad Shahare Hem Shlosha Kavim. So what would it be? He said the right line is called Chabad. Now this, I don't think I've seen this language used before, but the Rashash is using it. He says the Chabad is the right line, the Chagad is the left line, and the Nai is the middle line. Shahare Hem Shlosha Kavim. The Shnei Partsufi Denai V'Chagad, and we're talking about what? These are the lines that have to do with these 2 Partsufim. One is the Nai, which is the most outside part, and Chagad, which is inside of it, but both of them on the outside. In other words, they represent Katnus. Sha'ata Mamshichem as a Mochin the Katnus, because that's what's happening now. The Partsufi Nai V'Chagad. Why then? Hem Shnei Partsufi HaKatnus. So I didn't make it up, that's what it is. So he said that the 2 Partsufim of Katnus. So we know that Zeranpin is Zavak. The Chamisha Partsufim Tefuna. So just when he has all these other 5 Partsufim in Tefuna, Shehem Shnei Partsufim Machitzonim, and these particular 2, the Chabat and the Nai, are the 2 most outside part, but they're called Klaus and Misha Partsufim when we talk about all the 5 Partsufim. Hatavuna, Shekatas Rishon Hu B'Tavuna, because Katnut comes from Tavuna. That's what we understand about Katnus Rishon. So he says together, Im Hachan Bagadati, the 3 lines, the Mokim Penimim Ditzadi Umakifim Delamed Men. So this seems to be important because he has a drawing of this. So he says it comes in together with the what's his last name? Mochim Penimim, the Mochim Penimim, which is the Tzad of the Tzelem, and the Mochim Makifim Delamed Mem the Tzelem. the Shnei Tzalmei Nefesh and Ruach, the Naranchi, the Ben, the Ma, Ben, the Ben. All of these different things require some easy translation, right? So again, the word is with the Chacham Bagadati, the Mochin Pnimi, the Tzadeh, and Mekifin, the Lamed Mem. Okay, just say that's 105, no problem. The Shnei Tzalmei Nefesh we're talking about a Tzalm now, the Tzlomim, which we understand is Tzadeh and the Lamed Mem. Nefesh Ruach and the Ranchi, which also has the lights that are going to go in, are covering over the Nefesh and the Ruach of the Naranchi, which is the Or of Ben de Ma, U Ben de Ben. Okay, so we get a lot of this, and so try to figure it out. 1 second. Okay, so inside of the levushim mitzad ima, nimshachim atzlomim shal hakadnas rishon besochim. So let's understand that slomim is a layer of covering over the, as I understand it, over the oros, one of the covering. It's a covering actually over the moach. So that's the way I understand it. So nimshachim atzlomim shal hakadnas rishon besochim comes into them. V'hem shlosha kavim hacham bagadati. Shehem shlosha mochim, which refer to the three mochim, the chachad bagadati of chachma bin and das. And we said that before. I don't recall really actually seeing it said like this, but let's just say that's what it is. It's right, left, center. So he says also the same, the shlosha mochim chachma bin and das, and inside of them they have those mochim. Called Salam Kolom Mochim Pnimim Shehem Betzad Betzalm. Mochim Bekifin Shehem Allah Bemem Betzalm. This we know. V'kol Had Slomim Ha'elu. So all of these Slomim that we're talking about, which is I guess he means all the parts of the Slomim Ha'elu. Hem Slomim the Nefesh V'Ruach. That's the Slomim that we're talking about because we're dealing with Katnus. Katnus is going to be Nefesh Ruach. Shehem Edekroim Slomim the Katnus. Now, just 1 second, just concerned about his language. He said, "Heim slamin de nefesh ruach shehem anikroim slamin de katnas." Okay, no problem. Shahare nefesh ruach nechshav in the katnas. So he says, how do we know that the benranchi, that in all the oros of the nefesh and the ruach, Heim Shnayim Achitzonim, they're the most outside parts of this Mitocha Hamisha Partzuf of Naranchi. Now that right there got me a little stopped here. Mitoch Hamisha Partzuf in Naranchi. He said Naranchi is 5, of course, and now he's saying that the Oros themselves are a partzuf, or does he mean Mitoch Hamisha Partzufim Naranchi? I'm not sure if he means that the Naranchi is inside of them, or if he means, or if he means that each one of the Nefesh Ruach Neshama Yechida has a Naranchi inside of which makes sense, or let's say Chamisha Partzufim, but it is a Partzuf. But Partzuf is 10 spheros, so I didn't know how you work that, but let's say for the shlosha kavim elu chem bebechinas hamochen de betzad ima. These are the mochen by ima. Ben sad yamin de betzad ima, but ben sad small shalom, or whether it's her right side or his left side. And then he says this phrase that we see a lot: the ben dema. Shuhu chelak hayamin de betzad ima. So the way he's doing this is he ben dema shuhu chelak hayamin de betzad ima. So the ben dema, he's saying, okay, let me read it on. This is the ben dema. I would have said it differently, but he says shuhu chelak hayamin de betzad ima, which is the right line of ima. It's called the ben dema. In other words, it's a ben, I guess. Let's see. Haniknas atzmuso atachabibirchus b'karpas. So this is entering in. The ben dema is entering in as the atzmos of the karpas of the right side is coming into from the karpas of ben dema. So what's the ben dema? Who gam chelak hayamim, it means it's the right line of ben, the Chelach HaYamin, the Emsa, Hanikna Atna Rak Ha'ara Memenu, it's only called Ha'ara. Ben the Ben, what's Ben the Ben? Shehu Chelach HaSmol the B'tzadim. V'chein Chelach HaSmol, the Emsa, also the, I'm sure I'm understanding this well. He said the Ben Shehu Chelak HaSmol the B'tzad Ima. Okay, I could get that. V'chein Chelak HaSmol the Emsa. So the Emsa, he also take a portion of the middle line. Hanimshak B'karkos Rak Ha'ara Mamena, where there's only Ha'ara, comes from those two. He says Im Mochin the Chaba the Katnus together with the Mochin of the Chaba the Katnus Rishon to Tevuna. Now, he said before that the Chabad represented the right line, I think. So he says the mochin, which is a layer over that covers over the oros, and he says im mochin the Chabad the Katnas Rishon the Devuna shehem shnei shemos Elokim. Here we're going to see that these are Elokims now. The milui yudin b'kav yamin, the shnei shemos Elokim the hayin b'kav small, the shnei shemos Elokim the alofim. B'tzir Yud Vav Yud, and they have a difference over here in the way that the Aleph is. What Aleph is he talking about? The Kava Chasadim, which is on the line of the Chasadim. Again, what does he mean by the Chasadim? He means that that's the line of Chachma. Chasadim sounds like the right line of the middle. V'shnei Shemos Elokim the Halafim, then you also have the Lafim, B'tzir Yud Vav Dalad. Where they're going to be found? They're going to be found on the Kav small, the Gevuros of Gevuros. He says, B'toch halavushim v'atzlomim. Now we're into the lavushim and the tzlomim. Nimshachim hamochim atzman. Now we see that the mochim themselves are coming through there. So just picture this again. In the tzlomim that's coming in, inside of them you have the mochim themselves. Shehim HaMochin, the Chabad, the Katnas Rishon, which are in fact the Mochin of the Chabad, which is the right line of Katnas Rishon. V'Hamochin, the Katnas Rishon, Nimshachim Tevuna. Where do they come from? Because that's where Katnas Rishon comes from Tevuna. So Shemos HaMochin, the Chachma, the Katnas Rishon, Heim Shnei Shemos Elokim. So once again, this is a little bit, I want to say it again. The Shemos HaMochin, the Chachma, the Katnas, that's the Chachma, the Katnas Rishon, Heim Shnei Shemos Elokim. When does the Katnas goes with Elokim? The Milu Yudin B'kav Yamin, Shem Elokim Echad Hu Muach HaChachma. So if you have one by itself, that's what it sounds like, it's the Muach that covers over the or of that or of Chachma. B'Shem Elokim Hasheni, then you have a second one, Hu Halavush Shalo. So he says that the words Elokim are the same words for the Moach and the same words for the Lavush. Now he left out the Slum, and there must be a reason for this, but he went from the Moach to the Lavush. There's a Lavush on the Moach, which is called Lavush. Shebekantas and Mochim, because what happens like this in Katnus, the Mochim of Halavushim, Haim Osam Hashemos, these are these names, Shemos and Mochim, the Muach Habindach, the Katnus Rishon, Haim Shnei Shemos Elokim. So the Milui Hain, the Kav small, so the Hay goes with the Kav small. Shem Elokim Echad is the Muach Habina Atzma. The Shem Hasheni, who halavush shalo is its lavush. Shem is a mochim shal muach hadas. So the names of the mochim of the muach hadas, the Katnas Rishon, Haim Shnei Shemus Elokim again. But the milui on the hay is going to be with Olofim Vitzir Yud Vav Yud B'kav Yamim the Chasadim. Now this is all a description, I think, of what we'll see as we turn the page and we see the drawings. So he said, B'tzir Yud Vav Diala B'kav Yamin the Chasadim, which is the right line of the Chasadim. I was a little concerned about the use of the word Chasadim. The Chasadim refers to the right line of the middle, the right side of the the middle line. So he says, excuse me, Shem Elokim Echad Hu Muach HaChasad Das Atzma. So the name Elokim, Shem Elokim Echad, if there's one of them, is the Muach HaChasad Das Atzma. Okay, so that is what it is talking about. He says not only you get the right line, but you get something here from the middle, for the right of the middle. Shem Elokim Hasheni Hu HaLavush Shalo. It's Lavush. That's what we're going to be looking at. Of a Malcolm of a Muach HaChasadim, the Das. Tzir Os Ha'alef Shebemiloi Hey. Vahu B'tzir Yud Vav Yud. And that one is going to be in Yud Vav Yud. Yud Vav Yud is referring here, he says, to the right side of the middle. Harom is the Chasadim, which is a reference to Chasadim. V'shnei Shemos Elokim Dagalofim. Then when you go over here, B'tzir Yud Vav Dal. B'kav Small, the Gevuros. Shem Elokim Echad Hu Muach HaGevuros, which is the Muach of the Gevuros to Das Atzmo. V'Shem Elokim Hasheni Hu HaLavush Shalo. So we see these in doubles, and so the doubles, I think we might have seen this before, but my mind's not absorbing it. Seeing the doubles. The one refers to the right line of the center, and the other one, he in this case, and the other one with the left line of the center, of this, the center line. V'mulcha gavuras the dots, sir os, but we change the aleph changes, and we've kind of seen this before. Shebemilui os heys, because in the milui of the letter hey, hu b'tzir yud vav dalet romans the gavuros, which is really a reference to gavuros. Now, Samach Dalet, he said, Ubachilas KARPAS, now you're going to actually eat the KARPAS. Now, think about this. This is all what's going on here. Yekavin KARPAS who sowed Katnut Rishon de Ima. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Did we see someplace else that we're talking about when we eat the KARPAS, you do that? You're talking about bringing in the three lines and all the details that come with it, which has to do with this aleph. For the middle line. So he said previously that the middle line is, let me see if I got this understood. Let me go on. Ubachidas HaKarpas, Yakavin HaKarpas, who sowed Katnus Rishon, that comes from Ima HaNiknas B'chachma Zer Anpin, which comes into the right line of Zer Anpin. It's Katnus Rishon of Ima. O mifnei shechachochma de Katnus Rishon yesh Elokim de Yudin shemisbar shin, which comes to the number 300. Uvazecha v'yesh shisha kitzvos kol echad kol me'aser, and in this going into this other idea that he had at the beginning with the shin versus the 360, which is the gematria of KARPAS. So he said, Uvazecha v'yesh shisha kitzvos kol echad kol me'aser, which is 60. Shemispar is 60. Kamisbar milui shin, which is the same thing as the milui of the word shin yud nun, which is apparently, I'm not sure what they meant there. He says that the milui of that word is 60. Lefichach loking KARPAS shemispar shin malaya. So he says when you're actually taking the KARPAS has a min of shin yud nun malaya. He said berachilas KARPAS. So he says what? When you eat the KARPAS, Mekavin the Hamshech as Muach HaChochma de Katnus Rishon and Niknas the Chochma de Zah, which is going into the right line of Zah, Shahare Muach HaChochma Niknas Atzmus Al Mamish, V'lo Rak Ha'ara. And he's still going with the opinion of Rabbi David Majar. So he says, the Radam, Rak Ha'ara Umavar, Heich nirmaz muach zecha b'karpas, and then we'll say how it is that there's a reference over here to the muach karpas atzma. V'hu sha'arecha v'muach ha'chochma dekatnas, because he says what? The ruach ha'chochma dekatnas rishon hu shem Elokim, as we've seen before, b'milui yudin. V'ha so if you take the gematria over there, Shalom, hu shloshim meus comes out to be 300, shehu os shin, which is also the letter shin by itself. So I'm trying to get understanding because I didn't look at trying to figure out what the milui is. So let's see if he does it. Shin b'milui Nichtav kach. It's like this. So shin is not just a letter; it's a shin yud nun. Okay, that's it. That's the one that makes it makes 360. V'hamilui shalo ola samach. So it's milui, which is the yud and the nun, is 60. Taromas al shisha kitzvos dezer anpin. So when he went back in the previous, and he showed us a KARPAS gematria 360, but he also wrote the word shin nun. Shin Yud Nun, which has a 60 in it. The 60 refers to Zeranpin, who has 6 kitzvahs. Shekol Echad Nikfol Be'eser, it's multiplied by 10, Hare Ola Samach. What's Pshat here? So Shad Dinir HaZera B'yesh Bo Shisha Spheros, it has 6 spheros. Because ultimately we're going to deliver this into Zeranpin, Shehem Chagat Nai. And what is Zeranpin? Chagat Nai. Crime also shisha ketzvos. They're called the vog. They're called echad nichfacha be'eser harei samach, and each one of them gets put into 10, and that's going to be samach v'lechein. Them romez hakarpas. This is a remez the karpas. Shul b'gematria shin samach, which is that ha'ola could mean os shin b'milua, which actually, if you make the milui on the shin, it becomes 360 like this. Also, he said, "B'mul shahare os shin who commits bar shem elokim." It's the same about b'milu yudin shehu b'mul hachachma the Katnut Rishon, which is the mul hachachma the Katnut Rishon. Okay, so let's see. We're really close to finish today. I'm going to try to go to Passaic tomorrow, so I think that the next time I will be back, if everything is normal, is on Monday, and I'll let you know, of course. Okay, so just looking at the bracha here, so there's a bracha. So we'll get to that. That's a bar priyadama, and it doesn't seem to be a lot of comment on it. Then he shows you, basically the mem, the tzelem. So what I'm thinking is a lot of time in his language, he leaves his word tzelem out. So for example, he says that the moach and the lavush, but the lavush comes after the tzelem. So it makes me wonder exactly the nature of the tzelem. So he said, Makifi mem the Katnut Rishon the Devuna, and he shows it to us. And he goes like this on the top line after the number of Samach above. He says, this is Chacham Be'etzem. So this is the right line itself. And then the other 3, which is Dati the Chasadim and Dati the Gevuros and Baga, I'm just reading it across, they all are Ha'aros. So he's showing us that. And then he's going to show us the oros. So these are the oro of Chochmah, Chesed, and Netzach. Then the middle line is going to be an Ekia and Havaya. That's the way they go, right? So which is an Ekia and Havaya, and this is the way he spells Ekia and Havaya again. It looks like the middle line is exactly the same. The left side of the middle is exactly the same as the right side of the middle. Is the way that he shows the oros. It's a question, I guess, where it's coming from and going to. And then the left line of just reading across, I could have done it right, left, and then the 2 center ones, but I just went across. And here we see that this is always starts with the tseri, and then it goes down. This is baga. This is what baga looks like. So let's see. We have a couple of minutes. Let's see if we can do number samach hey. No. That's it. We're done. See you Monday. I think we'll see what happens. I may not make the plane because Kultuf.